So on Saturday's Rise and Align class, we're going to focus on some movements that we'll be breaking down to help you feel your core engage more naturally throughout them and support you and be strengthened through these movements. And so in my yoga class, we're not working up towards a dramatic looking yoga pose, but we're working instead towards regaining kind of natural human movements. So like different ways of getting up and down off the ground, movements that we'd be doing all the time if we lived in a more natural setting. So that's what I'm hoping to help you with. So try these movements and we'll break them down a lot more Saturday. And but I like to let you kind of see how they feel without a lot of instruction first. So we'll start on hands and knees. And when you're there, see if you can let your pelvis kind of untuck, but then instead of letting the ribs drop down, the low ribs drop down, bring the bottom part of your rib cage kind of up without tucking your pelvis there. Good. See if you can kind of press away from the ground. And then from here, so hands wide, under the shoulders, without leaning, just lift one arm up. And then see how stable you can be as you move that arm around. So maybe take it out to the side, take it out to the front. See if your whole body sways or moves, or if you can be really stable. And then we'll switch sides. Same thing, the other arm. And throughout this, this core work, you should be breathing just naturally, without holding your breath, without straining. So if you're doing either of those things, then it's too much for you, and come Saturday and we'll work on it. But yeah, you don't want to be straining or holding your breath during this core work. And then we'll take one leg up and kind of same thing. You can take it out to the side, take it back. See if the rest of your body can stay stable. And notice, look down at your other leg, the leg that's supporting you. See if you're slid over to the side. And if so, see if you can undo that. And we'll come back to center. Same thing, so keeping everything like it just was in tabletop. Can you lift up the other leg and move it around? Then keep that leg lifted and lift the opposite arm. And there, so this time, see if you can kind of sway forward and backward. And see if that movement can be kind of front and back instead of diagonal towards your front hand and your back knee. And then we'll switch sides. You can take a break if you ever need to. So one arm and one leg is lifted. And see if you can be stable, or are you wobbling a lot. And then can you get a little bit of a forward and backward motion going. And see how forward and backward it is. See if the movement goes a lot of side to side. Good. And then we'll come back. Let's sit up and let's take our right leg forward. And this next one will be kind of more mobilizing the core. So we're going to take one arm up and just do a little side bend. So a lot of times our core is inhibited by tension. So we'll do movements that strengthen the core on Saturday. We'll also do movements that help to mobilize the core in your waist. And then let's switch sides, little side bends. So these ones are kind of a good gauge on how mobile is your core, because muscles have a hard time working if they're super stiff. Let's bring our palms together in front. Big breath in. Exhale, a little twist toward the leg that's in front. And inhale back to center. And exhale to the other side. And inhale back to center. You can stay here, or you can tuck your back toes under and then stand up. But see if you can go slow. So see if you can use not a lot of momentum, not a lot of leaning forward, and come up and come down. Nice and slow. Take your time. Don't let your knee crash into the ground. And then we'll switch sides. And you can always pad, forgot to say this on the first side, you can pad underneath your knees too. I like to take a foam dome and kind of put that under there for a little support. Same thing on this side. So we'll reach up and just lean over. And then come back, and then breathe in as you reach up. Exhale as you lean over. And just take natural breaths. And we'll come back to center. And then bring our palms together. We'll take an inhale before we twist. And then exhale, twist toward that leg that's in front. Inhale back to center. And exhale, twist the other way without moving your pelvis a lot. So when you twist, it's not really a twist, or the kind of twist I'm talking about. If your pelvis and ribcage move together, you want to separate those two a little bit, which we'll talk about more on Saturday. Let's inhale back to center. You can stay here, or if your back toes are good with tucking under, you can slowly, see if you can do this slowly without leaning forward. So kind of keep your torso back, press into the feet, and see if you can come up nice and slow. And then come back down, not holding your breath. Good, come back down. And then we'll come back down to our hands and knees. And then this time we're gonna come to kind of like a kneeling plank here. Let your pelvis relax and let the low ribs come up. Should feel some strength there. And I'll post a video tomorrow breaking this down a little bit more and a couple things down a little bit more. But from here, let your knees go over to one side and put your weight on one arm. Try to keep that shoulder down and pressing into the ground to feel some strength there. And you'll kind of, if it feels okay, take your weight onto that arm. Other arm can lift up if it feels good. And then we'll kind of switch back and forth a couple times. So come back to both knees and both hands. And you'll kind of sway over to one side, maybe stack the knees, or you can put one foot back, taking the weight onto this arm. But you want your shoulder kind of back, kind of lifting up here. Good. And then just go back and forth a couple times. And see if you can stay stable and controlled, in between the movements. A lot of times we have stability in one position or another, but maybe not in between. So going slow and seeing if you can really be in control of how your body is moving is something we'll work on a lot in class as well. So taking your time, see if you can really feel. So if you feel like you can do these movements, but you don't feel your core working, then come on Saturday. I'll give you some tips and alignment tricks to really help put your body in the right alignment so your core can work naturally. Without you having to think about it. You shouldn't have to think about tensing your core. It should just work as you're moving as it needs to without extra tension. We'll come back to center. You can walk your knees in and then cross your legs, and we'll sit back. Keep your legs out in front. And then we'll take our bend your right knee, and you'll take your left leg out to the side. And you want your shoulder down here, and from here, you're gonna kind of lean forward a little bit, lean into the right foot and the left hand. And if it feels okay, you can put your weight on those two limbs and lift your other leg up a little bit. And then maybe you kind of shift your weight, take this foot down and stand on up. And then come on down. So same thing. So this is just a way of getting up and down off the ground. Again, a natural human movement. See how it goes for you. We'll break it down a lot more on Saturday. We'll switch sides and hopefully get it more smooth and more controlled and more enjoyable for you if it's something that feels a little clunky or funky for you. So this time it's left knee bent, right hand out to the side. Press into that left foot and right hand, and shoulder down. And here, if it feels okay on your body to go to the next spot, you'll shift. And here's a little balance phase. So maybe pause here if it feels okay. See if you can be controlled in this movement, taking your leg in, not going too fast. And then we'll come on up. And then come back down. So here's the point where you shift onto 2 points of support. Your one foot and one arm, the other leg's coming forward. And then slowly come on down. Okay. And then just take a big deep breath in and a big deep breath out. And we'll break those down. We'll go, we went pretty fast here. We'll go slower on Saturday and break down the movements more. We'll do more kind of prep work and ways to kind of help you feel the muscles working in these movements. So if you were able to do this stuff, but it felt kind of clunky or you didn't feel your core working, come on Saturday. I'll give you some alignment tips that'll help your core get working responsively and reflexively. So without having to force it, but it should just kind of react when it needs to, and using these bigger movements to strengthen and enjoy it. So, and then stick around after class. We'll be at 2 Penguins Tap and Grill, and if you want to stick around after class, we'll all get together and socialize, get to know each other, have some lunch if you want, have a beer if you want, or just say hi. And thanks for watching, and hope to see you on Saturday at Rise and Align at 2 Penguins. Thanks.